Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Procrastination Crusher course. I'm so excited to have you here. And before we begin, I just want to congratulate you for taking the step towards becoming a better version of yourself, feeling happier, more confident, more accomplished in your life and business through improving your productivity. I know a lot of us are struggling with procrastination, and maybe you have been already looking for some sort of solution to this problem. And if you're anything like me, you're probably deep down into the personal development field, trying to improve yourself on a constant basis. So you might even take that for something normal. Because of that, I just want to tell you that you deserve a big applause for looking to find solutions to what you might have considered a problem, and not remaining a victim of your circumstances. This is already much more than what the majority of people are doing. So congratulations, and let's dive in. Now, let me just tell you a little bit about this course. The Procrastination Crusher is developed to be a shortcut to overcoming procrastination, okay? You will learn the 4 pieces procrastination formula that will help you crush that destructive habit once and for all. These 4 pieces have been designed to really help you see, let's say, the bird-eye view of what are the main reasons for you to procrastinate and give you the exact solution and the exact action steps that you can take to improve or to solve each one of them, okay? You will learn powerful strategies that help you overcome your procrastination triggers. You will learn more about those triggers later, so you can clear your path to productivity and success. And of course, you will also get a fantastic 30-day productivity journal that will help you stay on track with your goals. This is how it looks, the productivity journal. And apart from that, you will also have a workbook that you will have a few action steps that you need to fill. Okay. And now, before we dive in, this is your first assignment. Okay. Now, before we do anything in life, the main question we should be asking ourselves is, why do I want to do that in the first place? Like, why do I want to do anything? So in this case, let's start with the question, why do I really want to overcome procrastination? Okay, like really ask yourself, why are you here? Why do you really want to overcome procrastination? And dive deep, okay? Like dig deeper. Don't take the first surface level answer that comes to your mind. Ask yourself that question, because this will really help you get some insights on what currently drives you to want to improve your life and support your commitment to overcoming procrastination. We will expand on this a little bit later in the course. Now, go ahead and complete the intention setting workbook before we continue with the course. You can find this as a resource, as a PDF resource in somewhere in this module, okay? Now, what is the procrastination formula? This is the procrastination formula that I have designed, that have helped me massively improve my life, and that I've taught to many of my clients that were really mind blown by the potency of this formula. It looks extremely simple, and that's exactly why it works so effectively. Okay, because as procrastinators, we have usually very small span of attention, very short span of attention, and anything that is overwhelming for us is like a no-go. Okay, so as a former procrastinator, I needed something that is simple, that I can follow through it, and that I can also teach to others. Okay, so please don't underrate the simplicity of the formula, because it's really, really potent. I'm going to explain each one of those 4 pieces in more detail as we go. But this is the overview. It's a lack of clarity, blurry why, lack of faith or faulty beliefs, and avoiding an emotion. Now, before we dive in, I would just like to tell you a little bit more about how I came to discover the 4 pieces to the procrastination puzzle, because it will also really help you understand the reasons behind why each one of those works. Okay, so what's my story? How I discovered the formula? Well, I've spent 3 years battling my own procrastination, And I was desperately searching for a way out of this painful loop. If you're anything like me, you know how painful it is to be stuck in that cycle of procrastination. I've tried hundreds of things in the hope of finding a solution. And even though I've discovered some things that worked for me, it seemed that they never worked on 100%. I would get super inspired, motivated, then I would build momentum of taking massive action, only to find myself back in the same spot after the initial energy dissipates. Please, how many of you, tell me, how many of you can resonate with that? You get that rush of motivation and inspiration. You're like, yes, that's the day, the week, the month that I'm finally going to change my life. You start off really strong, and then before you know it, you are back in the same spot, back in that same vicious cycle of procrastination. Sometimes I would find some more balanced and more mindful approach to take maybe small and consistent action, but I would never be able to keep it long enough to turn it into a habit, or I would never be able to follow through with being as balanced and as mindful. Can you resonate with that? Or the other thing that I would do is I would work so hard on my mindset and limiting beliefs around like fear, money blocks, whatever I thought was the reason for my procrastination, that I would neglect the other very important thing, which is actually taking action towards whatever I want to accomplish, towards building my business, scaling that business, finding clients, right? So I couldn't make I just couldn't make it work. Like no matter what I tried, I always failed. Can you resonate with that? Now, I would just use all of my willpower to hustle my ass off, only to feel completely burned out and take a whole week to recover, not doing anything and beating myself up for it. Like I could just jump from one extreme to the other. And I always felt that I was missing something. There was always something missing. But then something happened. After 3 years of struggle and totally giving up on changing this habit, I just let go. I just let go to the point that I even stopped making any goals. At some point, I was just like, that's totally, uh, it's hopeless. I felt like there was something profoundly wrong with me, so I just let go. But after a couple of months, I noticed something that was very different. I don't know what happened because I wasn't consciously taking any like particular actions to change my procrastination behavior. I just let go. I was just kind of going with the flow, you know? And before I know it, I found myself taking consistent, massive action every single day, doing 14, 15 hours a day without feeling any burnout. I realized that I was doing that already for a whole month. That was so untypical for me, like so unusual. Like I was super like suspicious. What the hell is going on? I feel absolutely no signs of overwhelm, no tiredness, no burnout. I managed to sustain my motivation. Like, what the hell is going on? And in moments when I did procrastinate and I catch myself consciously doing that, I just felt inadequate. I felt like those moments were just awkward and so unnecessary that I couldn't even bear them. It was kind of like, what am I doing? Why am I, let's say, watching a TikTok video when I feel so driven and motivated and amazing and productive right now to crush my business goals? Like it felt like that. And it was very unusual for me. Okay. I wanted to do what was important to me. It was a desire. Okay. I didn't do it against my own will. I didn't have to push myself, uh, like, like using my willpower to push myself to do something I didn't want to do. I actually wanted to work towards my goals. I actually wanted to be proactive, and I did it. Wow, that was so interesting. Wow. I got curious. How the hell did I make this work? How the hell am I being so productive for already a month and I didn't screw things up? So I started thinking about what was I doing differently than before. I started questioning the thoughts that I've been thinking, the things that I've been doing, and then it all clicked. I discovered the formula that has helped me find a drive every day, sustain my motivation, stay productive most of the time without falling back into the hopeless cycle of procrastination. I discovered that I had four things working in harmony at the same time in my life that were the secret to my productivity. Okay. Now you remember what I just told you. I would either go from one extreme to the other or try to do some balanced mindful approach or something like that. But I never figured out how the hell do I kind of do all of it at the same time so I can sustain that motivation, because sustaining it is the hardest thing. And I'm sure all of you can resonate with that. So what I noticed first when I started connecting the dots, I started asking myself questions. What am I doing differently? So I noticed that I had a very clear goal in mind, written and visible to me. Okay. One clear goal and a very sharp focus on it. In the past, I've kind of had goals, but not really. You know, they were always either so vague or so many that it was hard to focus on one of them. So I didn't have a clear direction. I thought I did, and maybe you also think you kind of do, but they're almost like these flying goals that were just things that I would love to have in my life if they fall into my lap, but not necessarily do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to achieve them. There is a very, very, very big difference between having a goal that you would love to have in your life if it kind of falls into your lap, or a goal that you would do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to achieve. Okay. Now, they were goals with no context, no weight, no meaning to them. They were kind of like, you know, they were not part of any bigger or exciting vision. And I noticed that where I failed in the past was writing a vision once and never looking at it again, right? I somehow thought that I would remember very well what my vision is because, well, it's my vision. Of course, I'm going to remember it, but that's not true. That's not true because eventually you lose sight of your vision. The mind is not a reliable uh, storage for memory, okay? And you forget the little details that actually produce the emotions that excite you about the vision. Okay. And emotions are everything when it comes to motivation and action. You will learn about that later. But we think that we remember, we write that vision once, we stuck it somewhere in a drawer, or maybe we put it on the wall, but we don't read it. And then we we are like, we wonder why we don't have motivation. Well, because you don't remember what is the emotional attachments that you have towards that vision, right? So what I was doing differently this time is that I was reading that vision every single day. I was reading that vision every single day. And emotions are everything when it comes to motivation, because the thoughts that you have create emotions, and those emotions actually drive your actions. And as you know, actions then produce results. So that was the very first big piece. I know it sounds kind of stupid, maybe a little dumb. It's like, yeah, that's not like a big thing, but trust me, it is a game changer, really. And if you're not currently doing it and you're already underestimating it, I really encourage you to first try it out and see what miracles it's going to do for you. So then I discovered the second piece of the puzzle, having a very strong why for that vision. Again, it sounds like it sounds like a no-brainer. It sounds like common sense. It sounds like something like, of course, like that's obvious. But the thing is that not many of us have a solid, strong, um, amazing why behind our actions, behind the vision. So both vision and why go hand in hand, because to make the vision so compelling that it almost gives you goosebumps, you not only need to imagine all the pleasure you'll get in your dream life, but you also need to get clear on what is the painful alternative if you stay right where you are, as well as the deepest desires you have for wanting to change. And inside of later in the course, you will have a whole separate video and a module and a workbook that is going to help you clear that out. Here we're just kind of like skimming through each one of those 4 points to get you an idea of why is it important. So the second point of realization that I had is, oh my gosh, my why was so strong and the alternative so painful and my dream life so exciting that it produced natural motivation for me to get going. I didn't have to push myself. It was my motivation was the byproduct of my exciting vision and my painful alternative and and the strong why that I have. So for me, the strong why was I didn't want to pass the burnout of financial struggle to my future children. I don't have children yet, but once I do in the future, for me, it's going to be so painful to have them experience the same financial struggle that I was brought up with. Okay. So that's a worthy goal for me. It might be different for you. It's probably different for you, but that's why you have to figure out what is the one thing or two things or how many things that really can create some sort of emotional charge within you. So what I was doing differently this time was reading my vision every single morning before I start my day. And I got that idea from another coach whose program I was doing at the time. Actually, this coach is Sam Ovens, the creator of school. So I tried it out and it did miracles. It really did miracles. And he also said the same thing, read your vision every single morning. And initially I was like, oh yeah, but like that's kind of like stupid, like I thought at that point that my procrastination problem was much deeper than that. And simple things like that are not gonna help me. That's what I thought. And I don't know if you can resonate with that, but if you do, if you resonate with that and you think that you have a much deeper procrastination problem that simple things like that are not going to solve, please, I encourage you and I dare you to try it out because your brain is playing tricks on you. Okay. Now, here's the thing when you remind yourself of the amazing, super exciting vision you have for the future, as well as the painful alternative of not doing anything about it on a daily basis, what happens? Well, you start feeling stupid when you catch yourself not actively working toward it. You actually feel stupid, it feels awkward. Okay. So it's kind of like, why would I delay creating my dream life if I can have it sooner? It's like, what? Like, why would I delay? Why would I watch videos or do anything else and delay creating that exciting vision that I have for my future if I can have it sooner? And here's the big key for you. Pay attention. If I can have it sooner, that was the game changer for me. I actually believed I can have it sooner. I can achieve it. Okay. That brings me to the third piece of the puzzle that I connected. I actually did believe that I can have it. I have the absolute unwavering faith in the inevitability of my success. Ooh, that was so, so exciting. I was 100% certain that I can achieve that goal and create this dream life for myself. That was a game changer. It really was a game changer because even if you have a very exciting vision, even if you have an amazing why, but then you don't actually believe you can have it, how long will your motivation last? Right? So I actually 100% believe that I can achieve that. And I noticed that in all of my attempts in the past, the moments I failed to stay consistent were the moments when I started doubting whether my efforts really matter. Because you guys all know to achieve something, whatever it is that you have in your mind, any goal, there is a certain level of consistency that is required before you see the results. We plant those seeds and then we reap the fruits later. But there is this time, this gap in which you might not see anything happening, right? So, in order for you to stay consistent until you see the fruits, what do you have to believe? Well, you have to believe that your success is inevitable. You have to believe that your efforts actually matter. But if I believe, what is the point anyway? Right? Like I keep going, I put in work, I stay consistent, and then I don't see anything for a little bit. And then I say to myself, but what is the point anyway? Success is for other people. It's not for me. Obviously, it's not working, or something like that. Well, then I won't have much drive to keep going. And this is the key. Keep going. I think for most of us, the biggest issue is not so much to get motivated, but how do we sustain that motivation? How do we keep going? And this is how you keep going. You cultivate unwavering faith in the outcome. So the times when I had the most unshakable drive were when I also had unshakable faith that my success is inevitable. By the way, this sentence right here is the affirmation that has helped me a lot to cultivate faith. My success is inevitable. Having a strong faith in the inevitability of the outcome was key to sustaining my motivation. What I was doing differently this time is connecting to who I truly am. I was connecting to the spiritual side of me, okay? And I was connecting to the fact that I was one with everything. I was one with God, one with the universe, whatever you believe in. You must connect to that spiritual side of you because believe me, I've tried it just the other way, just the hustling way, the hard work and all of that. And unless you connect to the other part of you, which is the spiritual side of you, that is one with everything, that believes in higher power, you will most likely not be able to sustain that motivation and you will most likely keep falling back into old patterns. So what I was doing differently this time is I just remembered who I was. I was practicing meditation and I was also using a lot of mantras. And I realized that nothing was actually separate from me to begin with. And therefore, my success is truly inevitable. It's not just like something I wish I believed. I knew it. I knew that it was inevitable because when you realize that nothing is separate from you, that you are one with everything, and that this successful person who has made billions of dollars that you admire is actually connected with you and he or she is also part of everything that you are, so whatever is possible for them is also possible for you. Whoa, then it's like you open this portal to unlimitless opportunities and potential to have and create whatever you desire. Now, this whole concept of the faith and the manifestation and connecting with all there is and to the spiritual side of you, um, uh, I expanded more on that in my other course, which is the Truth Beyond, and the whole course is dedicated just on that to help you connect with that side of you and to help you realize oneness so you can then cultivate unwavering faith and manifest effortlessly. So that is what I had going on differently. I actually believed my success was inevitable. And lastly, what I discovered is that unpleasant emotions, apart from them being just a natural part of the human experience, come much more often when you are aiming for extraordinariness, building a business, achieving success, uh, trying to expand into your full potential. All the crap that you have stored in your subconscious mind is going to come up. So when unpleasant emotions arise, a coping response that I've had developed, and many of us have developed for dealing with them, was just to avoid them. So one of the ways to avoid them is through procrastination. When something unpleasant, uncomfortable arises, we are like, I'm out of here, right? Like we don't want to deal with it because we've been taught that, it's not okay to feel negative emotions. Like everybody in nowadays in modern times, like aiming for the happiness, the love, the bliss, and we are trying so hard to create that, that anytime something unpleasant or uncomfortable arises, we judge it. We don't want to feel it. We are scared of it, and nobody actually teaches us this skill of emotional management that is so important, right? So we go, and instead of dealing with the unpleasant emotion, we avoid them through procrastination, through over drinking, over social mediaing, like overeating, whatever, right? So whenever there was a challenging task that I'm just about to do, I would always rationalize, like, for example, why cleaning the dishes or calling my friend was more important. And I'm sure you can all resonate with that. Like the moment you remember, oh my gosh, I really must reach out to people, sign clients. I really want to have this business, whatever it is that you know is like nagging in the back of your mind that you must do. And then that's that little moment in which you think about doing it, and then you hesitate, and then you allow your primitive brain to take control, and then you go about cleaning the dishes or calling your friend, um, is what actually we will learn how to solve. We will learn how to spot that little procrastination triggers and learn how to manage them rather than avoiding them. So my brain was trying to always avoid pain and seek pleasure, like every other brain is wired to do. And I was allowing it to do it every single time. But that's a very key word here. I was allowing it. So what am I saying here? It's all a choice. What occurred to me then through working with another coach was that emotional management was key to overcoming procrastination. In fact, it was one of the most important things to also sustain long-term productivity, which is piece number 4, learning how to manage my emotions instead of running away from them. Um, so I realized then that I had managed to put all 4 into place, working perfectly simultaneously. And that's why everything was working so smoothly for me. Ah, it was so good. So I knew where I was going. I had the absolute clarity. I knew why I was going there. Why was I putting effort to get there? That was my why. I had the absolute certainty that my success was inevitable. I had the faith, and I was managing my emotions on an everyday basis to maintain that consistency. So, emotional regulation. And this led me to develop the 4 P's formula, or as I call it, the procrastination checklist. So here is the procrastination checklist. And I have developed a little system that will help you find which one of those 4 elements have you ticked or have you not ticked, and how to solve them so you can become freaking unstoppable and crush your goals, because I want nothing less for you. I want you to expand into your full potential and really show to yourself what you're capable of, because you are freaking limitless. Now, we'll explore this further in the other videos. We have videos created for the lack of clarity and creating goals. You will have a workbook that's going to help you do that. We'll then explore the emotional management. I'm going to teach you a model that's going to change the game for you. And we will also explore the topic of faith. And then you will also get access to the Truth Beyond course, which expands on the topic of faith and manifestation even further. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.